All right, welcome back everyone. Today up on the bench we have a GM 9.25 IFS front diff out of a 1995 GMC K2500. Supposedly it has 373 gearing. To my knowledge it wasn't making any noise or anything. It should be in good shape, but we're going to pull it apart to see anyway. We're going to start with our axle flanges. They have clips on the end of the axle, like a internal snap ring almost. So I found it's best to just tap them out. This one is held in here. It's this one we tap out. Just like that. And there's that ring I was talking about. So you just have to overcome that. There's our driver's side flange. Let's pull our breather off. Can also get our actuator out here. This is of course the electronic actuator for our four-wheel drive axle lockout or our axle disconnect. There we go. Now there's a plug that goes into here, and when you put the vehicle in four-wheel drive, it actuates the motor inside this and spins the worm gear to extend this piece here. So next we're going to crack this case here. Get the 5 bolts out there. Those look like 15s. All right, this just slides out. There's the part that fell out. This is the shift collar and the return spring for the disconnect. And that's the other half of our axle. Right down in here. Gear oil in here looks pretty healthy. I don't think there's any surprises there. Anyways, so this axle does in fact have that same snap ring on it. Now that one didn't go flying away, but now we can pull off our other housing. And there's a little washer guy. We'll just leave him in there. And just for the sake of keeping everything organized and clean, we'll put this ring back. Because technically it shouldn't have to have come off. There we are. There's our axle shaft pair. So how this works, like I was saying, was there's this actuator that sits up in here. And when this is extended, it pushes against this. I'll take the spring off to show you better. But it pushes against this. And this surface here is splined with the axle shaft. So when this is pushed in, it locks to the other half of the axle shaft. And then you have power flowing through that axle shaft. They make parts like this, which have this already fully extended, so you can permanently lock this in if you wanted. This next thing, we should take our yoke off. There we are. There's our yoke off of it. There's the washer and the nut for it. But now we're ready to crack this case open. And that is again going to be all of our 15 mils that are around the case. Where these differentials sit in the truck, they have a skid plate underneath of them. So all the gunk and whatnot from the engine, there's nowhere to go and it just sits and sits and sits. And then they get covered in all the nasty stuff. Before we go and crack the case open, all right, now with our table a little cleaner, now we'll come and we'll pull apart our housing. Alrighty, set her down. It's already coming apart, but I'm gonna get the pry bars in there. There it is. Here we go. So here's the other half of that axle. That just sits in there. See, it has a bearing, and there's the stub there that it sits on, and it will just ride like that and spin until this collar locks the two together and makes them spin as one. Here's one half of our differential, but here's the actual carrier. So before I continue again, I'm going to get in here and clean more. Now, this stuff is thick. Look at it. It's sitting up off my table like a good quarter inch. It's weird how the viscosity of the oil is visual like that. I don't know. Maybe that's a normal thing. Maybe I'm just a guy. Just a silly guy. Now, if I had to put a bet on it, there's a snap ring right here. So let's pull up the seal. We'll start there. There we go. But that beats my old method. Now I don't see a snap ring in here. It might just be stuck in there. Maybe let's just try a few more taps now. Our nut still threads on perfectly fine. So don't tell me that it was going to damage it. Probably actually going to get rid of the nut, so I don't think the nut's going to fit through that bearing. I just wanted to prove a point. Also, I think it's worth noting that when I'm holding the pinion here, I'm actually kind of like loading it up. I'm trying to pull it that way, just to help everything out here. There we go. There's our pinion. So I guess we can do a quick gear count. 10 by 41. I wonder if that means 10 teeth by 41 teeth, and that means we have a 4:10 axle ratio here and not a 3:73 that I was told. So let's do a count. So I've gone over this before, but I'm going to do it again just because I can. But essentially what you do is you count the number of teeth on your crown gear and you divide it by the number of teeth on your pinion and you come out with your axle ratio. So I like to use a paint pen to help me track which teeth I have and haven't counted. But let's start off with our pinion because it's pretty easy. 1, 2, and 10. 1, 2, 40, 41. So 41 and divide it by 10, we get 4.1 or a 4:10 ratio. So we have our fully disassembled 4:10 gear ratio GM 9.25. I'm going to clean everything up and then I'll come back. Okay, I'm back. So we have our fully disassembled 9.25 sitting here in front of us. I'll quickly go over the parts. You pretty much, I named them as I pulled them off, but we'll go over them anyway. We have our 4:10 gear set with our crown, our carrier, and our pinion. Our pinion yoke, or the input yoke. This is the other pinion bearing. Our input seal, our driver's side half of the case, the passenger side half of the case. We have the axle tube. We have our case hardware here as well. We have our electronic four-wheel drive actuator. And here we have our driver's side axle and flange, and our passenger side two-piece axle, and of course the shift mechanism for that. I wanted to go over this in a bit more detail because I can explain it all day long, but it's probably best if I show it. So I'm going to grab our shift collar here, give it a quick wipe. So as I said before, this slides back and forth with our shift fork. This normally sits on it like this, and this stub axle just sits on it and it spins freely, right? So when you put it in four-wheel drive, your actuator extends, engaging the shift collar upwards, just like that, locking the two axles together. See? Now I wanted to show that because this is a pretty common style. A lot of GM front axles have this. A lot of Jeep and Chrysler front axles will have this style, along with some of the older AMCs if you're a Jeep fan. Even the second generation of Dodge Ram pickup will have this similar style axle disconnect. And if I'm not mistaken, Toyotas might also have that same style with their own variant. But I wanted to just go over that in more detail so that you can see how it works. And like I said, my truck, when I had it, and I guess still technically, it's permanently locked. So that shift collar is engaged all the time, which gives you fast, responsive four-wheel drive engagement for all your rally racing up in the hills. Something else I wanted to go over was the carrier. I'm gonna flip this guy over. GM differential carriers usually use left-handed bolts to hold their ring gear to the carrier. And that's signified by the L marked in every bolt. It's cast in, and then you have the metric grade right there. But always make sure you know which way the bolts go. On GMs, it's pretty safe to assume they're left-handed thread. If they're not marked, research it, because the last thing you want to do is snap a bolt off in the ring gear. You can ask me how I know that. I've got it on Titan right now for our left-hand thread. See, it works backwards. So I'm going to go ahead and bust all these out. There we go. And now we've freed our carrier from our ring gear. Once again, I can't stress this enough. Left-hand thread. Okay, that being said, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this type of content, definitely consider giving us a like and a subscribe. It helps the channel grow, and we post pretty regularly, and that way you'll get notified when we do. As always, all the good salvageable parts will be up on the eBay, Valorous Wrecking. Go ahead and check it out. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.